I realize that I'm a bit late to the uptake on this one, but I've been sort of compiling my thoughts on this song for the last week or so, and there are a few reasons for that. The biggest being just the pure chaos this song creates in its wake. This song feels like a fever dream, and as someone that quite literally had a fever while simultaneously listening to this song on repeat for days, I can concur that it is equally as crazy as anything my fever-induced mind has ever conjured up on its own. And I don't know who told me it was a good idea to listen to the song while I was already sick, but hey, I survived and now I'm here to tell its story. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready for the ride. Listening to an Nmixx song is like playing the wackiest game of food combinations. Sometimes you end up with ketchup in your cereal and you wonder why you even play this game to begin with. But other times you put nacho cheese on a pickle and you realize that you are a culinary god. Dice just so happens to be the peanut butter on celery. It's not too bizarre, but you'd probably get some weird looks if you were to eat it while in public. It's a bit different, but once you get a taste, you see the appeal, even if it isn't exactly for you. The song's flow is surprisingly smooth. Nmixx's transitions are like subway cars speeding past their stop. It doesn't even dare to slow down and blows by with so much poise and confidence that even if it was your car, it's at least going to take you a second to realize it. I think one of the reasons I liked OO so much is just the blatant disrespect to music in general that it presents. It does what it wants, when it wants, simply because it wants to, but DICE seems to have at least a little bit of a purpose. There's something driving it forward even if it is just utter nonsense. The grand opening of the song feels eerily theatrical. The organ and brass plays a tune meant to induce a feeling of happiness, the only interruption being the dauntless laughter creeping in between the cracks. But that unsettling feeling quickly fades away as the tangy brass comes back into full force during the chorus. It's loud and obnoxious, forcing whoever listens to pay attention. The desire to be looked at as a competitor, and a good one at that, is translated from the lyrics into the song perfectly, and it makes for this really bold piece that's really difficult to look away from. Much like the roll of a dice, though, the song never lets you know its next move. Before you can even catch your breath, the dice falls from a 6 to a 1, and the zesty song from before fades into the savory trap-like beat that falls and rises like a game of snakes and ladders. I half expected them to shove another chorus into this section, if nothing more than to just flesh out the song a bit more, but as they say, the show must go on, and even with that little bit of time lost, the song is already so full and overflowing, it's hard not to forget that this is hardly a feature-length song at all. The song ends with the classic dance break leading us back into the original setup of the song, all while refusing to let go of the energy that they busted that door down with to begin with. This comeback is a battle cry, asking for any and all competitors that are willing to compete with a group that refuses to bow down to the standards set by those before them and are even willing to make their own. DICE was absolutely a step in the right direction for this group, and I am filled with so much curiosity about what will come next. The video attached to the song is what stood out the most to me, though. It's not as well thought out as some of Stray Kids' music videos, nor are the scenes as beautiful as some of Itzy's, but I think this look and feel fits them just right. They are far from the first group to do this sort of Alice in Wonderland theme, but dare I say, they are one of the ones to pull it off the best conceptually. Alice in Wonderland kind of runs on this nonsense factor where things happen just because they can. A caterpillar that speaks through exhaling smoke, a cat that fades into the night leaving nothing but a menacing smile behind, a dragon that exists simply because why not? It's the only pass I'm willing to give directors to put things in that they want to put in just because they want to put them in, and yet this is the first time I'm seeing it being used that way. Board games, cards, wands, magic, dolphins, cats. Why cats? Nobody knows. This is the one time the creators of these concepts are allowed to go off the deep end, and I am so happy to see it finally happen this way. And that's not to say that there aren't still some key components to this song, some intentional, and some maybe not so much. The visuals of the music video are clearly heavily inspired by Tim Burton movies, though I feel like I'm more likely to see an Oompa Loompa walking around than I am to meet the Mad Hatter. This world feels very grand, but very processed, and the iconic orange and unnatural greens reminds me more of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory rather than Alice's more natural greens and blues. The constant rotation of different board games also brings up memories of Jumanji. the original, of course, a lot of times it feels like these things happen with the roll of the dice, and it's really neat to see how a 2 can take us down to the sea, but a 4 can bring us up into the clouds. I also feel like the somewhat creepy opening reminds me a lot of the way that the movie managed to scare so many of us as kids, despite not really intending to. And I don't say any of this to say that the directors did a bad job in their portrayal. I don't think any of these were really intentional, and in the end, this is their rendition of a classic tale, not my own. But I say this rather to say that, much like the song itself, the music video also tends to almost combine things in a way that no one else would have ever thought to do. This is their trademark, and this song makes it abundantly clear that they are going to keep this up for at least a little while longer. Overall, I have to argue that the song was a lot more consumer-friendly than their previous, and I think a big part of that lies in the direction the music finally seems to have. We know these girls now, we know what they're capable of, and we have some expectations of what they're wanting to try and what they're wanting to do. Their game will likely be riddled with many trials and errors, but I think I'm going to have a good time with this one, and I'm gonna have to label it as a success. And that is all that I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will see you next time, travelers.